This is how much of the afternoon went in Grand Haven at the state park. People cooling off, catching some waves. But this is what happened around dinner time. Winds picked up. Harsh rains came from heavy dark clouds. Within minutes, people along the lakeshore were finding damage caused by the storm.
It was really windy and lightning and thunderstorms, and it was really loud, and the power was going in and out. It was kind of scary.
Photos like this from Andrea Miller coming into the newsroom. Wires down, causing traffic nightmares all over the lakeshore. Inland did not get spared either. Perhaps the worst, northern Kent County. Peatridge and 12 Mile closed due to downed power lines. Much of Sparta without power. Branches or trees down on nearly every street.
I was closing my back windows. I heard a crack, looked out and saw that limb just coming, whop, just like that. I didn't see it, but I heard it. And it's just like I heard a crack, and then I heard a big thump.
They're headed to the Clunker Graveyard. Micah Ostrander buys scrap metal for Padnos. He's working with more than 20 dealerships who say they can't keep cars on the lot since the government program started a week and a half ago. And Mike pays the dealers to take the old cars off their hands.
Wouldn't surprise me by the time this is all said and done. I mean, only knows how long they're going to extend the program, but that we're well over 200.
From Fox Ford on 28th Street, the cars are shipped to Padnos facility in Walker. The scrap metal is weighed. Then the cars are offloaded in their yard. Eventually, they have to be drained in a machine called the sponge. Without this capability, Padnos wouldn't be on the government's list of approved facilities.
You have to have the means necessary to remove the fluids, the batteries, any other environmentally safe fluids out of there, the Freon, and the mercury switches that come in those cars.
But they don't all go to the shredder. Salvage yards like East Side Auto Parts in Muskegon County are in a bidding war for cars like these, working with dealers to get their business. The government has a few rules. The engines have to be disabled at the dealer with a chemical, and the cars have to be destroyed within 6 months. After that, everything but the engine is up for grabs. The tires, the sheet metal, the transmission, anything you can make a buck on. In the end, the clunkers are eventually ground up either way and sold off to a foundry to make, well, maybe a new car. In Kent County, Carl Apple, Fox 17 News.
I'm so excited I don't even know how to act.
That's how both Ella Hudnall and Ursula Payne felt today, waiting to see their homes.
I just want to see the house and, my yard.
The home makeovers were organized by a group of people from Journey of Faith Church in Grand Rapids.
Faith, if it's going to be real in our lives, needs to be outside the walls of the church.
As a local crossing guard, Ella's zest for her community is what got her nominated for the makeover. But Ursula had a different story.
She has MS, and that has had an impact in her life. And recently she became wheelchair bound.
They needed to make Ursula's home wheelchair accessible so she could get around. So starting this past Thursday, volunteers from around the community worked around the clock to complete the project. Then this afternoon, time to see the finished product.
Without any further ado, would you like to go see what they've done?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have a bus, but we have a bunch of people, so move that crowd. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Please come.
Oh! Oh!
Look at that girl.
I live here?
Yes.
This is a miracle. If you ever seen a miracle, it's here at my house, and I'm one.
Ella's makeover was mostly landscaping, but it was Ursula's makeover that spanned the entire house.
Don't even look like the same house. Oh, man. This is really beautiful.
And over there on the table there is a remote control, so that you can control the fan and the lights up there.
This is nice, right my size that I can get to.
It's kind of hard to hold back the tears. It's the gift of knowing someone cares. It's the gift of knowing I'm not alone in this world.
And it's that gift that both Ella and Ursula will be talking about for years to come.
Thank you. If that's enough words I could say, it's just thank you and I love you.
I just can't believe it happened to me.
In Grand Rapids, Christine Van Timmeren, Fox 17 News.
2 days later, this is the scene. Less than 50 people protesting for the cause. They've staked out the Federal Reserve Chicago branch. Some didn't want to give us their names when we tried to talk to them.
Well, first of all, no thank you.
Others stood behind a mask, not wanting to reveal their face. But many people working in the area simply walked by the protesters, ignoring them. They held signs like "honk if you're in debt." And this one, "just because you're wearing a suit doesn't mean you're in the 1%. To some, the group just doesn't make sense.
I think the Fed stuff is kind of stupid. People don't understand economics. The idea of getting rid of the Fed is ludicrous.
I have been looking at the crowds and looking at some of the news stories, and basically I cannot find a coherent message. That's my biggest problem. I'm trying to listen to them, trying to see what they're asking for, and it's not coherent. And, they have signs, take your money out of big banks. What are you supposed to do, put it in a little bank? I don't know. But to me, it all boils down to what kind of a country do we want to live in? One where we have an opportunity to make it big, or where everybody's limited with a ceiling, and it seems like they want to have a ceiling for people, and they resent people that get past that. And that's the way I see it.
So the question stands, is this movement growing, or are radicals just showing up for the cameras? Teresa Rashid, EAG TV.
Outside the Capitol building in Madison, Wisconsin, people chant with the hopes of defeating an effort to reform collective bargaining for public workers.
It was only when workers around the country began rolling strikes that Mubarak was forced to resign.
In a classroom on the University of Wisconsin campus, socialists hold a meeting Wednesday, February 23rd, to discuss how what happened in Cairo is connected to what's going on right now in Madison.
I mean, Walker was elected, but so was Mubarak, and he was not elected on a platform to get rid of collective bargaining or destroy the public sector unions. So he is a bit of a dictator.
Phil Gasper is a columnist for the International Socialist Review. He says the budget repair bill is bad for Wisconsin.
I think it's not a budget repair bill at all. I mean, it's basically a power grab. They've used the excuse of a very small deficit in the current budget to go on the offensive against unions. I mean, this is an attempt to destroy public unions in Wisconsin and weaken the position of all working people in the state of Wisconsin.
Governor Scott Walker says the bill is needed to help fix a $3.6 billion deficit.
The union bosses of the paid leadership wants to save their asses by making the membership essentially pay for it.
Mike Imbrogno is a union steward for AFSCME Local 171, a public employee and a member of the National Socialist Association. AFSCME is a government employee union.
They manufacture this crisis. There's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of corporations that do not pay tax in Wisconsin that need to be paying tax in Wisconsin. If they get away with this, it's going to be like Sweatshop Wisconsin up here. I mean, it's going to be a corporate, heyday, taking advantage of folks and super exploiting people while they reap the profits.
He says workers may lose this battle to keep collective bargaining, but he hopes the fight costs the governor.
I hope that Scott Walker goes down terribly here in the next few weeks. I think he's going to be recalled. We don't know. I think that would be cool if he was.
And he's already plummeting in support. I expect there's going to be a recall campaign against him by the end of the year.
Lawmakers will vote when the Senate Democrats come out of hiding. The governor has said publicly he has the votes to pass the budget fix. In Madison, Wisconsin, Teresa Rashid, EAG TV.